Hey there, RMPs. It is Wednesday, so we are going to jump into this RMP call. Today, we are going to discuss breaking down the waste disposal flowcharts. Where can I find the waste disposal flowcharts? What does each color on the waste disposal flowchart mean? They each have a meaning. When do I use this chart again? Why? Why can't I print it? Wouldn't it be so much easier if we could print it? Why can't I just print it? And how is this going to help me in the DMP? And then, hey, guess what? Go do your hypo. Please get your hypo done. So where do I find this waste disposal flowchart? It's in your quick reference guide. And how do I get to the quick reference guide? Well, you go to your ETT. You're on your main page of your ETT. You're going to click the hazmat input. You're going to click data entry US. That's going to pop up this screen right here. And there it is. There's your operator's quick reference guide. So when we click on that, it's going to open it up. And I've got it opened here. Let me get it back to the main page. So it's going to open it in a new window on your internet, and it's being a turkey here on my computer. And everything in here is hyperlinked. So we're just going to click right here, DMP waste disposal flowchart. Boom, there it is. There's our waste disposal flowchart. And if you're doing a damage, you're getting into ETT to input that damage, correct? Right? That's the program we're using to input our damages. So you're already right there. You can pull up that waste disposal flowchart. Absolutely no excuse to not be using the waste disposal flowchart when you should be. Make sure that you're signing in with your RACF and token. You need to make sure that this is your name that's coming up here, not your manager's, not somebody else's. It needs to be your name with your token and your RACF ID. If you still do not have your own token and your own RACF ID, get in touch with me. We need to get you your own token and your own RACF ID. So what does each color mean? Each color has its own meaning on this chart. So the tan color in the very beginning is while we're responding, the very first questions that we're asking. If we end up in our yellow boxes, that means that we are going to be contacting our corporate environmental coordinator. That's a mouthful. Corporate environmental coordinator is going to advise us what we need to do from there on. Once we end up in the yellow box, these are no longer our decisions. We are calling someone with more knowledge than we have, and we are going to lean on that person to make these decisions for us. So once you have notified your corporate environmental coordinator, then we are going to do what they tell us to do. They are way more trained professional than any of us could ever hope to be in the DMP, and good for them, awesome for them. We're going to listen when they have something to say, and we're going to do what they tell us to do. When we call that environmental coordinator, we're going to make sure that we are giving them all of the information about the situation. This is the product that leaked. This is roughly how much of it that leaked. This is where it leaked. This is the situation. I have so-and-so that doesn't feel good. I have it went into this certain drain, and then we are going to listen to what our corporate environmental coordinator tells us to do. So yellow box, corporate environmental coordinator is going to start making decisions for us. If you end up in the blue box, awesome. That means it's a non. That means that you get to solidify it or pour it down your sink, process it through not process it through the DMP, process it through ETT just as a regular damage, and we get to be done with it. Making sure if we are solidifying and throwing away that we're signing off on that non label. If you end up in green boxes, that means your damage is going to be in a green bag. Green box equals green bag that's now getting processed through the DMP. And if we end up in the red boxes mean that we are then going to the quick reference guide, which is where we found the waste disposal flow chart. We're going to end up in our quick reference guide getting further guidance, because whatever the item is that we are solidifying is now different. It's a biohazard. It's an acute hazardous waste. It's a cylinder. I can't even remember what the other ones are, but there's a handful of them that have specific appendixes in the quick reference guide that we are referencing. So if you are in your red boxes, you're going to go to the quick reference guide to learn more information about how you should be processing this damage. And then you're going to do whatever the quick reference guide is telling you to do with that damage. So that is kind of what all of our different colors mean. So when do I use this waste disposal flow chart? You use it for every damage that we process. Every time. Every time we follow every step and we read every word, just like we do with the decision tree. Every word, every step, every time. The exception, because there's always an exception, right? Always has to be an exception. The exception is damages that require a containment sheet. So we're using our containment sheets when chain of command is activated, when SCBA is required but not available, when the decision tree tells us that we need an outside responder. That's when we're going to be going to containment sheets instead of response sheets. If you're using a response sheet, or if your environmental coordinator directs you to go ahead and clean up the product, then we're going to use the waste disposal flow chart. We're going to go to our operator's quick reference guide. We're going to click on that waste disposal flow chart hyperlink, and we're going to go through it. It's just like the decision tree. Every word, every time. If the EPA auditor comes in, or environmental comes in, or I come into your building and I send you through a hypothetical, I'm going to expect every single word gets read. And if you're not sure, what am I going to tell you to do if you're not sure? Ask me. Ask me questions. Send me an email. Send me a text. Send me a picture. Call me. Send me a message on Teams. There's multiple ways to get a hold of me. Yes, I am busy, but you're not bothering me. If I don't answer, shoot me a text or leave me a message and I will call you back. I do a lot of meetings. I do a lot of calls, that kind of stuff, but I am ultimately here for you. Your health and safety supervisor is here for you to help you make the correct decisions while we're handling these damages. Why can't I print it? Why? Why can't I print the waste disposal flow chart? Wouldn't it just be so much easier if it was in the decision tree like it used to be? Yes, it would. It would be much easier. But as you can see, as referenced right here, this thing changes constantly. Corporate DMP is going in, corporate base is going in and adjusting this waste disposal flow chart based on new information that's coming out, new information from the EPA, new information from the chemical producers, the companies telling us how to handle these products, new information coming from the absorbents from the absorbent companies that we use. All of multiple different factors play into what this waste disposal flow chart tells us to do. And because they want to give us the best options, they want it to be fluid so that it can ebb and flow with changes. And as we know, the world is constantly changing. So our waste disposal flow chart is constantly changing as well. We need to keep it as a digitalized copy and go to it every time. You need to not be looking at a print copy, not looking at a copy of the quick reference guide that you saved on your desktop. You need to physically sign into ETT and go into the quick reference guide every time. Because as you can see, this waste disposal flow chart just changed in July. They added this box right here that says, note, leaking packages contain either liquids or powders or are packages that have been impacted by liquids or powders. So a leaking package, by definition, is no longer just a liquid or powder. It can also be a package that is affected by a liquid or a powder. So maybe that package doesn't have the leaking product in it, but it's still considered a leaking package if it was impacted by a liquid or a powder. So we're constantly changing. We have to access it through ETT so that we have the most current, the most correct version that we can possibly have. So how does this help me through the DMP? Why? Why do I have to use this silly thing? I know what I'm doing. Well, we handle a lot of packages, and they are highly dangerous. Things like phosphoric acid, things like formaldehyde, things like radioactive materials. These are all things that are allowed to be shipped in our system. Things that are explosive, things that are highly flammable, all allowed in our system. And we know that there's lots of things in our system that aren't supposed to be in our system. I hear about it almost on the daily. Products that are coming through without diamond hazard labels, and they should have, without red and white shipping papers, and they should have. We don't know what's in those boxes. And using all of the tools that we have, our decision tree, our response or containment sheets, our waste disposal flow chart, is going to help us make the best decision safety-wise for ourselves as responders and for our coworkers. We have a responsibility not just to UPS because we agreed to be a responder or an RMP, whether you were volunteered or voluntold. Regardless, we have agreed to do this. And it's our responsibility to help keep our coworkers safe from these hazardous materials. We have taken the courses, we do our hypotheticals, we've been educated how to handle these products that are allowed in our system and even the ones that aren't allowed in our system. So we have a duty to get that done. And these products are even things that could potentially cause an immediate danger to life and health. We don't want to be in that situation if we don't have to be. And making correct decisions when we're dealing with damages is how we're going to hopefully stay out of those immediate danger to life and health situations, because we don't want to be in them. We don't want our coworkers in them. And really, when you're panicking, when you're stressed, this waste disposal flowchart is going to be there. It's going to answer your questions for you. You're not going to have to memorize it. You're not going to have to remember it. You're not going to have to stress about it. The answers are literally right there in the waste disposal flowchart. So long story short, just do it. Just use your waste disposal flowchart. It's there to keep us safe. It's there to keep our coworkers safe. It's a tool that UPS gives us to do our jobs better. So why wouldn't we utilize it? Why wouldn't we utilize what UPS is providing to us to help us make sometimes difficult decisions that maybe we don't either remember or don't know what to do? So go out there, check out your waste disposal flowchart. Go to your quick reference guide. Go find it. Go seek it out there and skim through it. Look at the yellow places. Everything that's highlighted in yellow is new within the last 30 days. So go through there and just scroll through. Find those yellow spots. Those yellow spots are spots that we should be paying attention, because maybe we thought we knew how to do this, but now it's been updated. Something has changed. So we need to keep ourselves on the up and up with what's going on the waste disposal flow chart. All right, Hypo Help available on my YouTube channel, because I went through the hypo on my YouTube channel already. I am not going to do it on this call. So if you are listening to this call, I've got the link right here, and I'm also going to put it in the description of this video. I also have the QR code that you can scan with your phone. So let's go scan your QR code, click on the link, whichever procedure you're going to use. Let's go get our hypotheticals done for this week. And you can jump over to my hypothetical recording here in just a second. Last but not least, please get your attendance recorded. I really appreciate you guys being here on my YouTube channel, being able to convey this information to you, to share this information with you so that you can be successful. Like I said 100 times during this call, the waste disposal flowchart is there to keep us and our coworkers safe, to help us make the best decision that we can make in the DMP regarding the damages that we are handling. So get out there, use that waste disposal flowchart, familiarize yourself with where it's at and what it has to say, so that when you're in a situation where maybe you're a little panicked, maybe you're a little scared, these are there to help us out. Utilize the tools that UPS gives us, and have a great, safe day out there. Thank you so much for being here. Happy Wednesday.